Hey YouTube, it's your girl Destiny. This video is about my pregnancy. I am 20 weeks pregnant as of today, and I was been supposed to do a vlog, but I've been busy with so much, so many other things. We had a car, so many things happened. So right now everything's chilled down. I can start vlogging my whole pregnancy. So, I made a list so I wouldn't forget. And yes, my fiance is here. Say hi. Say hi to America and our viewers. He's playing his 2K. So anyway, what to talk about. So, 20 weeks pregnant. We just found out the gender of our baby, and it is, drum roll, it is a boy. When did we find out the gender? It was like 2 weeks ago. Last, whoops, last week we found out that it was a boy. So they normally say it's actually better to wait when you're at least 18 weeks is when you can find out if the baby is a boy or girl because it's more accurate. So never try to find out at 16 weeks because it could change in the 2 weeks because the baby's genital area is still developing. So found out it's a boy. Let's talk about what I've had done so far from the beginning up until 20 weeks. So I've had blood work drawn about 2 times, and the first one was to check to make sure there was nothing wrong with me as far as any diseases and all the other stuff that blood work checks for. They took about 5, 6 tubes of blood, so expect to give a lot of blood. You're the first time you find out you're pregnant. When you get about, I want to say, 14 weeks, you have to give blood again, and this basically tests to see if your baby has any signs of Down syndrome. So I got that done, got the results back, and 2 thumbs up because there's no signs that our baby will have Down syndrome. Great. So let's see, you get blood work done. You will get one ultrasound, your first, when you turn, I want to say, when you first find out you're pregnant, and then you'll get one around 12 weeks. And then after 12 weeks, your next ultrasound will be when you're 18 weeks, because then you'll find out the gender. They don't specifically do it just to tell you the gender, it's just to show you the anatomy, but be sure to tell them you would like to know what the gender is, because sometimes they'll skip over it and won't tell you. So that's basically what you can expect from first find out up until 20 weeks, and your belly will grow. I will put some shots up of my belly depending on, some people don't show, but I'm showing a lot. So your belly will grow. You're supposed to at least gain, they say, 16 pounds, but me being petite, it's hard for me to gain 3 pounds. So, and this is my second baby. My 2-year-old's actually on the bed asleep. But it's hard, so don't ever feel pressured about if you're not gaining the right weight. There's so many things that you can do, like drink Ensure shakes. They say they're really, really good. And for anybody who is on the WIC program, you can get Ensure shakes written out in a prescription from your doctor, and you won't have to pay for them. So anybody out there pregnant and struggling to gain weight, you can talk to your doctor about it, and she'll tell you what's best for you. Okay, symptoms. As of right now, the only symptoms I have that's still current is probably the backache. That's the only thing. Nothing really major right now. The morning sickness was really bad in the beginning, and it stopped about 3 weeks ago. So you can expect everybody's different, but mine stopped around 16 weeks. So only backache problem right now. Morning sickness completely gone, and I'm starting to get bigger, and I'm trying to gain weight. So we're gonna hope that I gain the right amount of weight. I also would like to talk about everybody who's so scared of C-section, the big C word. Well, I did say that this is my second child, so I did have a C-section with my first, so I can give you a little bit of insight on how it goes and what to expect if you're scared of a C-section, or if you just want to know what it can be like if you have to have one. So I was actually, this was my senior year, 2011, and I was pregnant. And my due date was close to the day of graduation, and both of those days were big: my baby's birth and the day that I graduate from doing all these years of school. So I told my doctor I would like to get induced because I don't want my water to break before graduation and I not be able to walk across the stage. So I was being, this was 2 years ago. I felt as though 2 years I've grown a lot and I would have never done that if it was right now. Getting induced causes a lot of risk, especially when you do it for your own personal reasons, which is why I did it. I was only around 29 weeks, almost 30 weeks, when I got induced, which shocked me that I was even able to get induced that early. Um, we got into the hospital that morning and they started me on Pitocin. They sped up my contractions and everything, and they got really intense, which getting induced increases the intensity of your contractions. And I thought everything was going like it should. I'm like, oh, I'm in labor, the pain, it's hurting, it's that moment where you're like, oh, this is it. And when the doctor came in to check me, she said that I up to 6 centimeters. So I said, okay, we did something. But she said it took me too long to get there. So she allowed a little bit of time to go by, and about like an hour or two later, I was still stuck at 6 centimeters. So with that being said, they basically told me that I need to get a C-section. And that's something that you don't want to hear, but at the same time, you're like, wow, there was nothing wrong with me or the baby. But they basically said the head was not going to fit, which brings me to a lot of women might hear from their doctor that they have a small pelvic area. You can be very petite like me and 89, 90 pounds, or you can be 350 pounds and have a narrow pelvic area. Having a narrow pelvic area isn't just more popular in smaller women. It's rare to have a pelvic area that's really, really small, they say. But I looked up online and a lot of women actually said they've been told that. So it can range. So you don't ever let that scare you. Don't ever think that you can't be the one to have it, because you can. But don't let that scare you into thinking that you won't be able to have your baby. So with my last appointment with my doctor, which was last week, I was told that my pelvic area is narrow. He did no pelvic exam, but he said being that I'm little, I have small bones. So he thinks that this time again, there's a 90% chance I'm going to have a C-section. I'm going for a VBAC, which is a vaginal birth after cesarean. And it's basically where if you've had a C-section and your next time you want to try for a natural birth or vaginal birth, they have to put you at high risk and they have to monitor your pregnancy all the way, which means more ultrasounds, more blood work, more questions and everything. But so far everything's going good with the baby, but the doctor's doubting that I would even be able to push out a 4-pound baby. So all that I'm talking about is for anybody who has concerns about this or is dealing with this now, and you want to know if there's anybody else that is. Ask as many questions as you can. And my advice, always get a second opinion, because a doctor should know what they're talking about, but always make sure that there are other doctors that might say, oh, okay, yeah, that doctor is telling the truth, or no. Or if you ever feel as though you need to get a second opinion, do it, because it's your body. So do what makes you comfortable, and come up with a good birthing plan and have good support. I have wonderful support, my fiance and my mom and my dad, so I have a lot of family that supports me. But that's basically all that I wanted to cover today. I will be putting I'm going to try, and I hope I don't forget to do a blog when I turn 21 weeks and so on, so that I can show you guys how I progressed from this video up until my water breaks. So that's it. Subscribe. I'll leave any comments if there's any questions. Try to get them in now so that when the 21 weeks comes up, while I'm telling you guys about that, I can answer all the questions. So thank you. And anybody else out there that's pregnant, good luck and congratulations. Thanks.